this YouTube video will be censored. If you would like to see this video uncensored, please check out my Patreon in the description or type in patreon.com/Sydsnap. Hey guys, it's your girl, and I am in England right now. Pardon the change. It's nothing. It's just still me sitting here. No big deal. Sorry, I'm looking at myself in the camera. I look really white. Holy shit. I match with the cabinets back there. So from the very beginning of me doing YouTube, I have had people try, of course, to recommend me titles to do reviews on, kind of pitch out there on my channel. They could be normal mangas or games, or of course, in the grand scheme of things, they were mostly hentai. And in the end, so many people asked me to review so many different titles that when I first started my Patreon, one of the tiers was you could pay me to review a certain title and I'd make a video on it. But not long after starting that, I kind of took that tier off my Patreon because I wanted to focus on stuff that I know the culture, that I want to spread a little bit amongst myself. Titles that I know everybody should know. But after a while, mother began to wane. I was looking for new comforts. I wanted to try other titles that I potentially didn't know about. So I decided to go on my Patreon one day and make a post and ask my patrons, hey, recommend me one hentai title that is your favorite or that you deeply recommend. And I decided, damn, there's so many suggestions, I might as well review them. I'm thinking, honestly, because I really enjoyed making this video, that I'm going to be doing more of these in the future. I'm going to be asking different types of hentai or different types of things to suggest for videos. So if you are thinking that you would like to participate in this, or if you would like to see this video uncensored, please check out my Patreon in the description. Now, before I jump into these titles, some of the series that were recommended to me were really long. Some of them were like animation hentais when I kind of wanted more of like a hentai manga doujin. Or they would be incredibly short hentai manga doujins with like 2 or 3 pages that I feel wouldn't be properly reviewed. So the ones that I've picked in this video today are the ones that I personally thought sounded interesting, or were ones that I saw commented a few times by a few different people. And out of those ones, I've picked 10. So instead of yammering on about it, let us begin this escapade. Before we continue, I would like to thank today's sponsor, Tokyo Treat. Tokyo Treat is a monthly Japanese snack subscription box that wants to have you experience Japan from the comfort of your own home. You can get up to 20 exclusive, limited, and seasonal snacks all within one box. Each box also has its very own unique theme. And this month's theme is Ninja Snack Venture. Each box comes with its own booklet that contains details on every snack inside the box, as well as any potential allergies. It also contains various information on Japanese history. Bro, look at this candy sword! Out of these snacks, I'm going to try the wasabi rice crackers. It goes right to your nose, but oh my god, it's so delicious. I need more. I need more! If you yourself would like to try Tokyo Treats, then please check out my Tokyo Treats links in my description. And also use coupon code Sydsnap for $5 off your first Tokyo Treats order. Thank you again to Tokyo Treats, and now back to the video. We're going to be starting this list with a hentai manga called Fan no Hitori's Seinen Reijo, My Lady, My Master. My initial thought when I looked at this was that the art looked really good, but common sense has led me down a road of realizing 3 frightened looking girls on the cover of a hentai usually will lead me down paths I wish I could go back from. But either way, art looks very stellar already. Now the hentai story takes place in a fantasy world where there is a tough sword master named Charlotte, to whom she has an apprentice called Colin. Now, Charlotte really goes hard on Colin. She wants to make sure that he is being trained down to his skin, bro. Wait, that doesn't make sense. She makes sure day and night that he is training his sword, and bro does he in the end. Because in the end, while after training, Charlotte ingests a drug that makes her paralyzed. She can't move. And what does Colin do? They did this, they bang. And Charlotte's like, damn, okay, skippity toilet. She wanted more of it, and they ended up banging a lot. So much so that the queen of their country that they were in was just like, shit, I've been seeing you guys banging, all right? I want to join in on this bang sesh. Colin, you're looking like a little sex fiend. Let me hit that. So the queen joins in. And then while they're still traveling around, and I guess Colin is still doing the sword stuff, and Charlotte's like just kind of on the sidelines waiting to get banged all the time now, they come across a dragon girl. And the dragon girl's like, hey, yo, shit, I'm gonna kill you, ha. But actually, Colin attacks her and he wins. And the dragon girl was like, damn, Colin, you got that yacht. I gotta let the homeboys know that I'm fucking with that. And so the dragon girl starts sucking him off, and then they just kind of all have a threesome. And because Colin's getting laid so much, he's getting proper buff. He's getting to the point where any moment, Logan Paul's gonna ring him up for a match on YouTube. And this somehow entices a fox girl who just tries to poison him and then seduce him, and then she joins in, and then it becomes a fivesome. Essentially, Colin is whoring around in what was the medieval times. Got that plague penis that girls just cannot get enough of. Now, looking at the art was ugh! And I looked at it and I'm like, damn, why is this art look so fucking good but so familiar? And that was because it was created by the same person who made Dropout. Fan no Hitori, which is in the title. But when you're signing up for anything made by Fan no Hitori, you know you're getting stretch out cooches up the wazoo. If you've never seen a cooch stretch out like a rubber band, then you clearly never seen Fan no Hitori's work. Put that dick in, suddenly it's a trampoline. And as you're reading this, you're gonna know in detail how this cooch looks as it gets stretched so far deeply that it falls into itself and becomes a black cooch hole. And of course, it's not just the cooch details, be it like the stretching, as well as the pubic hair is very thin, very real-like hair. Tickety-boo, let me swirl that in my glass. But also the detail, of course, on the nipples. Now, Fan no Hitori really likes pointy-ass nipples, but they're very well-drawn, and they're very shiny, and of course, they're always so fucking massive! And the detail on the penises as well. Listen, Fan no Hitori doesn't play around. Equal rights, okay? He draws the details on that dick like it's about to hop out of that page and just strike you right in the fucking eye. There is an excessive amount of fluids. Who would have it any other way? They're hydrated. Also, near jaw-breaking ahegaos that we all just kind of love to see on D-Gen shirts as you go to anime cons because somehow they're just not going away. But there is one thing while reading this that I can say I was not entirely a fan of, and this is just my kind of personal preference, and it's something that, once again, Fan no Hitori puts in, I think, a majority of his works, and that is the humiliation fetish. One such example is when Colin makes Charlotte put cowbells on her nipples, makes her walk around on all fours while he rides on her back like she's a goddamn pony, just like giving a little whip, and she's going, nay, or moo, or something. Story was a little kind of bland. It kind of felt like another fantasy story I've read a million times. Humiliation fetish will never be for me. Once again, if it's for you, you'll never go wrong with Fan no Hitori's works. A decent recommendation. Next one. Tanatsuke Oji-san to Entia Hitsuzuma Seksu. And in English, this means NTR'd married woman has sex with an old man. Now, I'm gonna tell you this right now. This one was a trip. Okay? I genuinely, after reading this, did not even know if I was gonna include this, but I had so many thoughts that I had to put this in. Now let's begin with this story, because it follows a woman who is beginning to think her daughter and her husband, who are step-husband, not blood related. It seems like they might be getting a little too close, might be getting a little funny business in the house. But she tries to shoo away this worry, thinks, it can't be, I gotta trust them. And one day, as she's leaving for work, her neighbor, who lives next door, an ugly bastard, by the way, comes up to her and is like, hey, by the way, yeah, they're banging, and I got video proof. Let me, shows her video proof of them banging. And the woman's like, oh my god, I don't know, this could be fake, I need more proof than this. And he's like, you want more proof, baby? Come to my room, come to my house. I'll show you fucking proof. So she goes into her next door neighbor's house, and he's like, listen to the wall, baby. You're gonna hear him going to Plowtown. And what do you know? They fucking were. And so she's freaking the fuck out. She's just like dying inside, like, holy shit. And in obvious dismay, the ugly neighbor is just like, hey, babe, how about we just bang it out? Let's go bang away this trauma. And so they do. And throughout the whole time that the ugly bastard neighbor and the mom are banging, you can hear her daughter and her husband banging. And then there's just various moments of her just being re-traumatized and then just kind of like, just still trying to bang it away. Now, this was a roller coaster that really, really hurt. Obviously, having to hear that in general would traumatize anybody. And it really didn't help that the art was so good at capturing that re-traumatization. It shows in her face that there's clearly like physical pleasure, but mental dismay. It is chaos in that head. When you look into her face, you can feel her soul is just slowly rotting. It was the first time as well that I saw somebody getting NTR'd while also getting plowed, which I thought was really unique. It was a really initiative, like the hentai world's expanding, my guys. Now the plot twist in the end is that we find out that the daughter wanted to get with her stepdad and planned this whole thing with the neighbor so the neighbor could end up with her mom. Woo! M. Night Shyamalan shaking in his boots. But the art, this motherfucking artist, it has no right to be this pretty. It is, I'm saying this to you now, one of the most beautifully drawn hentais I've ever seen, guys. An NTR one with an ugly bastard. Are you hearing these words coming out of my mouth? Ugly bastard NTR. Ugly bastard NTR. Beautiful art, beautiful art. We are making history. We are making history! The hyper-realistic penis, the spit, the split! It looks so real! The details of the bodies as well. My God, the face, it's so pretty. It is the best of the best. It is num num num, tickety goddamn fucking boo up the wazoo. Even the smallest details are thrown in there that really make this, okay? Like there's a detail in one frame of the boob kind of like folding in a bit. I don't know how to describe it. You know, like if you have boobs or if you've seen boobs and you know they lay back, especially when they're massive boobs, they kind of fold in a bit. They don't just like lay there and they're still always perky. They kind of fold in. And it's like even small details like that, it's just like, what? My sire, are you saying physics exists in this world, in my fictional anime world? Revolutionary, especially when they're getting smushed like baby. There's not rocks in there? And one of the things I can appreciate the most and makes me know besides the story, besides the art, is I learned while reading this hentai. I had to study some of the kanji that I've read in this. I did not recognize. I did not see for the life of me ever before. And I was studying while reading it, and I learned quite a bit of kanji. The hentai isn't very long, 25 or so pages. So if you're studying Japanese and you want to see some of the this is the beginning for you. This is your wake-up call. This is your come to Jesus to be the biggest fucking weeb you need to be. Read this, because you're gonna regret it if you don't. Read this. Read this. Next up, we have the titular title, Izumi brings all the gyarus to his house. Now listen, the title feels very self-explanatory. It's a guy, he brings some gyarus to his house. I wonder what's gonna happen. And honestly, I heard gyarus, I'm enticed, bitch. And when I started reading this, I realized, damn, bitch, it's a drawn series. But I thought I would only read the first one and then kind of end it there. No, I read the whole thing. It's a treat. Let me begin. The story is very straightforward. Refreshingly so. A loser guy lives alone and 3 gyarus come to his house to use it as a hangout, but one day they notice he's got a big peepee and they're like, fuck, should we just bang this guy? And they all did. But the difference between this and a normal typical foursome gyaru hentai was the story was actually pretty funny. Like at no point while reading this did I feel like I was just reading your typical gyaru hentai where it's just a girl banging this one guy. But they actually felt really funny and kind of human. And I'm saying this because of the girls' dialogue. Instead of the usual kissing and humping that they usually would do in these kind of situations, all 3 girls kind of treat the main guy like they're treating a toy. Like he's not really actually a person or there. To the point where it's almost hard to take seriously. For example, literally one of them gets so pissed off because she finds out that one of the other gyarus bangs him first and is actually his first time. And then the girl who's pissed off is like, bitch, oh my God, what the fuck? I was supposed to be his first lay, you bitch! Like it's so comedically like unserious, but still somehow so good. Another scene that I almost couldn't believe my eyes when I first saw it was one girl brought in a package to the house. Is like, guess what I bought? And the other 2 gyarus is like, I'm gonna guess an onahole. And she's like, shit, I bought an onahole. And yes, they jack him off with it, okay? But it's all admire the fact that they all knew she just brought a random package and they're like, onahole. She brought an onahole. And one of the nice things that actually kept me to reading it non-stop is that throughout all the sex scenes, even in the foursomes, the guy was still the gyaru's bitch. Usually in gyaru hentai, or even in hentai in general, when there's a loser, it becomes almost disenchanting when you see a guy who suddenly has all this confidence and he's just like ruling the roost all of a sudden. In reality, there was no build-up. It's just like, okay. So seeing him be consistently submissive was just tickety-boo for me. That's gonna be a word you hear a lot. The sex scenes were very kind of straightforward, nothing too original. It's just your everyday, run-of-the-mill gangbang with gyarus. The art is also good, but it's not all that detailed. But with what it has, honestly, the art doesn't need to be detailed because it's entertaining, and what brings you in is, of course, almost realistic comedy of the scenes rather than how detailed the acts really are. Truly was not a bad recommendation, and if you are looking for a consistent series that has exactly what you want, just a good little wang bang, thank you, Sfang, you would not go wrong with Izumi brings the gyarus to his house. Next one is called Dominate Me. And looking at this, okay, hello Oldilocks and the 3 Bears. One look at this and I could tell right away that it came out in 2007. 2007 had that kind of unique style that screamed housing market crash. The story revolves around a boy named Tomohiro who begins to have sex with his female classmate Hikaru. They begin to date and then Tomohiro goes to Hikaru's house and then he begins to fuck Hikaru's sister? Uh-oh. Either way, as the story goes on, we are introduced to other sexually active couples within their school. And all these sexually active couples are just banging in the school. Like, for example, Miss M is a teacher in the school. that is a giant masochist. And as she's sleeping with one of her students, he just decides to beat into her a vibrator into her ass. She is so happy with this that she gleefully pisses all over the place. And happy Palm Sunday, everybody. Happy Palm Sunday. It's not Palm Sunday. Either way, we find out that during that chapter that shows that scene, it was actually not real and they were all just watching porn. That was the greatest twist since The Sixth Sense. I don't know why I said it like that. The story continues, literally though, still, with all of these couples, Hikaru, Tomohiro, as well as other classmates that are sexually active, just banging around in school, and sometimes in the end, well, especially in the end, they just all start banging each other. And for some reason, in the beginning, the sister that Tomohiro banged joins in on this foursome and makes it a fivesome, and then it becomes one big all happy family. Now, this title was asked by quite a few people to be reviewed, which actually surprised me. I do think this one must have been quite popular because it not only has a official anime out there, but it's also one of the only early officially translated licenses of hentai that I've ever seen. This definitely seems like a title that early hentai fans really hold dear, maybe because of nostalgia. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really quite enjoy it all that much. This art style was a bit more dated for me, and even if that wasn't the case, the story was kind of a little all over the place. Porn's not meant to be complicated, and this really wasn't complicated, but it also didn't really make the most sense. I'm looking to have an awakening for my porn, alright? I'm not looking for DJ Khaled decides to write some erotic novel. There was a sentence, I just let my brain do the talking. If you were into older ones, I'm not dissing it, it just wasn't for me. Next one! Tomodachi osanajimi no 友達幼なじみも母さんの寝たられる. This was recommended by my patron Anon X, and he would like to know if I think this hentai is an NTR. It says netarare in the fucking title. But you know what? Let us see. We've all been wrong before. Now, when I saw this art style, I immediately knew that there was going to be strap-ons and a bunch of rim jobs involved in this. Maybe this author somehow created enough artwork that subconsciously stays within me, that when I know I see their artwork, I think of that. And I was correct, by the way. There's a lot of that in this. Maybe too much internet in my early teens made me a philosopher of fish-eyed, hairy-armpitted MILFs. Only God knows, and I certainly apologize for that. Now, the story revolves around a guy named Hiroshi who had a childhood friend named Nishikawa to whom he had a crush on. One day, his friend goes like, hey bitch, I got a video I need to show you. And it's him banging a girl with a face mask on, who, lo and behold, Hiroshi realizes is Nishikawa. Now, Hiroshi, after seeing that, was crushed. But not as crushed as his friend's asshole by her tongue, bitch! Really, it was excessive. The literal asshole licking was excessive in that video he showed his friend. I'd almost be embarrassed personally. So yeah, to answer your question, Anon, yes, I do think it is NTR already, and we're not even halfway done talking about it. And then Hiroshi gets another message from Go, and it's a video of Go fucking Nishikawa's mom/aunt, and his friend from this point on just keeps sending Hiroshi these videos of him fucking these people that Hiroshi essentially grew up with from childhood. And then goes like, okay, let me go a step further. Let me do a threesome with them. And then it's just like, Hiroshi just won't stop watching these. So many rim jobs. Literally, it would be the shiniest car. And then goes like, how do I make this worse? Okay, let me send a video of me fucking his mom. Bro, is every cooch around this guy just lining up for this ugly bastard in training? Because let's be for real, look at this motherfucker. I think because he was so devastated by seeing every female figure in his life getting banged by his friend to a alarming degree, to the point that they're shining, his butthole must be so shiny. Yeah, I think that would cause enough trauma to kind of count this as NTR. Even if none of them were his partner, I think enough devastation could feed a whole nation with that. The art was alright. It is very kind of like the crude sort of hentai art that is very kind of in your face, a bit excessive. Some people really like that. I don't. It was a fine recommendation. I will not be reading that again. The next title is called Imoto wa Mesu Oku Shoushuen, or My Little Sisters Are Slutty Orcs. Now, I have not seen before a hentai with female orcs, so I was already very intrigued to start reading this, especially because this is a multi-work series with a bunch of different female orcs. There's so many chapters though that I just wanted to pick the one because it's reasonably long enough to just do a review of it. And I'm gonna say right now, this title is fucking bait because they are not actually his sisters. They are his sisters-in-laws. Just saying, don't get you baited. The story begins with our male lead getting visited by his new sister-in-law called Riko, who is an orc. She's beginning her mating season and is feeling all sorts of ways. So the male lead helps overcome these feelings of mating through days of non-stop copulation. Listen, because there's days, there's quite a few sensual scenes. There is a lot to talk about here. The story was a kind of nice little change from the ones that people suggested before. Mating season, it's just a nice little new spin, you know, I like it. And the art was good, but it definitely came out the best during the canoodling scenes. The detail on the breasts and the spit, bro. The shininess of this orc's nipples. And I really like her mouth, okay? I really like that she has like the bottom teeth, but it kind of looks like squiggles, like she's kind of like a W. It's cute. Either way, it was a medium length read. I really recommended it. Story was straightforward, quite a few scenes to pick from. 10 out of 10, good recommendation. Nothing more out there really happened. It has everything you really could want. Really nice little wham bam, thank you ma'am. If that's what you're looking for, you really can't go far from this. Next one! Mobu Oshi JK no Akuyoku Reijo Isekai Tensei Hisan. I will not lie to you, I've actually read this before. When I first saw this, I was like, yes! Finally a reason I could talk about Yandere men. I love. One of my favorite things in the whole world. This is a new thing, I will admit to you. I have not talked enough about this. Do not recommend me anything that doesn't have yandere men. I need the red flags, okay? This one is not for the faint of heart. If you're looking for something more straightforward, whatever, read the tags of this because this is not the alley you want to go down. The story is a girl gets reincarnated into an Otome game and finds out she's the villainess. And her name is Lily. She is overjoyed to find out she's been reincarnated into this Otome game because she doesn't want to be with any of the main men. She wants to be with this really random side character that only appears for a short period of time within this visual novel. But in order for her to be with this side character, she needs to tell the prince whom she is engaged to break off their engagement. And it should be quite easy because the heroine in the game kind of starts to see the prince and she's like, okay, well, listen, the prince was gonna break off the engagement in the original game to be with the heroine, so this should be easy peasy. However, the prince has noticed that Lily has had a change in personality. And he's not thinking of letting her go so easily. Now, I remember when I first read this, when I was starting to fall into the yandere men hentai scene, and I remember being so entranced by the prince's facial expression. Usually we see all the goddamn time women ahegaos. Tell me the one time you've seen a man's. This has a lot of it, okay? And that's one of the reasons, by the way, I really love yandere hentais because the men's facial expressions are always there. Slay bitch, you're serving dick. Yeah. But as I say that, once again, this is not a wholesome guy, okay? A lot of this is very dirty. A lot of this is very questionable in terms of lovemaking, as usually yandere hentai ever is. And admittedly, is this series the best art I've ever seen? No, but it's still great. Like the detail in the kissing, for example. The spit, and I know I've talked about the spit a lot, but this one especially, you can really see kind of how natto spitty sticky that their kissing is. You know, it's very like messy, sticky, natto-y. It's like that little punch of nutmeg to your horny sandwich. It really adds a nice little kick. There's also quite a bit of detail inside the cooch that you will not go wrong with. But besides the sex scenes, one of the major pulls that I enjoyed about this series was the comedy. Yes, I really love the male lead's obsessiveness. That is my favorite bit. But the female lead did not stop making me laugh. Even during like the sex scenes, she'd make these faces and I'm like, what are you doing, girlfriend? Literally, the story begins with almost a haha because the girl wakes up, she's like, oh my god, what? Where am I? Otome game? Let's go! And then it just gets suddenly really dark. I'm sorry, just look at this girl's face. Does that not just explain enough for you? I laughed while looking at it. I really enjoy this series. I keep up with it. I recommend it if you are into yandere men or into seeing mutual facial expressions. 10 out of 10. This one is called I Got a Girlfriend with 8-Man Sensei's Help. Now, when I first saw this, I actually had to do a double take because the art style so much reminded me of Dozanko Gyaru. It also reminded me a bit of Batan's art style. This is the person who made Run Away With Me Girl. And listen, I love both of these art styles so much. So I was already hooked, line, sinkered into this. And it just kept getting better, baby. Because the story revolves around a girl named Tanaka who really enjoys having sex, as well as reading mature hentai ecchi manga. She loves that erotic manga, baby. Marin, watch the f*** out. You got a new BFF on the way. One day, while out shopping for some new erotic manga, she runs into her teacher named Sato, who also happens to be buying the same erotic hentai that she was buying. Now, she's excited because she loves erotic manga hentai, and she never really had anybody to talk to about it. So she's like, Sensei, let's go. We need to go have a little chatty rooney to talk about these wonderful hentais. And they do. They go to a karaoke place and they talk for ages about the series that they like. After their talk, Tanaka's like, all right, Sato sensei, we fucking time to the hotel. And I'm just gonna say right away, I loved this one. I loved it. I love hentai with unabashedly forward girls that also have a bit of sass to them. Her personality, I know I said it before, I made a joke, it reminds me a lot of Mudan. And it's not just because of, oh, haha, erotic stuff, they both like it, but because she is so unabashedly herself. It doesn't feel fictional the way she's acting. It feels like someone who genuinely likes something, and it's not all like that's her personality. She's more than that. She's not some horny fiend. She genuinely just knows what she likes. I also really love hentai with shy otaku virgin guys. It's just like, especially that mix is just the deadly concoction of kisses for me, especially when the virgin guys become aggressive. It's like, what? The artwork too, oh my god, stop! So good. Look at this, look on the screen. I got all this air here for a reason. I'm sure all the lewd pictures have been here, but look at all of this! The artwork is just, it adds that small bit of detail. Like for instance, when Tanaka is taking her top off, it shows that little bit of rib cage, that it's just like those small little intricacies. Smack, love it. Shut! There's sweat on her breasts and her expressions! Even during the scenes, it's like sassy, but also it's like, girl is loving it. And especially as well as with the teacher. Love! The only thing I wish that they did show more of, even though this is supposed to be like a mutual thing, they didn't show the teacher too much during the scenes. So you actually don't see the teacher much during the hentai bit at all. You could feel them becoming gradually a couple, and it made me a little sad to see that, and then they finally like bang, and then you don't even see him really. And my final issue with this hentai is that it's not a series! Make it! 1 million and 10 out of 10 million out of 10. Great read it now. Next one is called Lady K and the Sick Man. Now this is another one that I have read before and I am very excited to talk about. I will not lie to you, what initially drew me into reading this was I was looking through the ghost tag because I was just always curious. It's always kind of fun to see what you come up with when you go through that tag. When I saw that motherfucker's eye bags, I was entranced. No, sir, I will not lie to you and say I do not love a tired looking man. Get the fuck away from me. That is not a sin I will repent from. Love me some depressed men. The story follows a 37-year-old guy who, although working quite a few part-time jobs, has not much money left and has to go and rent a haunted property. Now I'll give a slight explanation to this because it might not be kind of obvious. Haunted properties in Japan don't necessarily mean that somebody got murdered in it. It could just mean that somebody feels like there's something in there, like a ghost, and that alone, if they feel like it's an unsettled property, would make people want to leave. But there was a ghost in there. Oh, there's a ghost, all right. And let's just say our guy was more than welcoming when he saw her. And now her character design was clearly after Sadako, or the ring girl. And the male lead, instead of being scared, he asserts dominance and begins to kiss her. And from there on, their relationship begins to form. The initial draw, I think, for a lot of people when we're seeing this is, do I even need to say it? Do you not have eyes? If you don't, I'm sorry. It's the art. Let me show you how the art is. If you're on YouTube, this means nothing to you. But if you're on Patreon, enjoy to your heart's content. It's really good, huh? It's so good. Each panel in this hentai is painstakingly shaded and drawn just beautifully. The armpits, the detail on the pubes. Are you kidding me? What the fuck? Not every panel needs to be Picasso, but it's the small details in every single one of them that really builds it up to be sort of like one of those drawings when you're seeing something that doesn't look like Jesus, but then you close your eyes and it looks like Jesus. I don't know. Like for example, the nipples peeking out of her white dress and sort of being like kind of inverted, and then just kind of put his fingers in, they pop out, and it's the small, and the penis? The penis, my guy? I was scared that I was looking at something I shouldn't be. That it was gonna be one of those Ring videos where a penis pops out and this murders me. Yeah, I'll go with that joke. And let me just say how refreshing it is to see a good-looking male lead. Thank you, Lord! But what keeps you going, besides, of course, the delectable scenes, the beautiful details, the juices, the beauty, it's so good, is seeing these two kind of grow as a couple. The ghost girl is, of course, initially a ghost and is wary of people, wants to scare them, doesn't want really anything to do them besides to frighten them. Slowly begin to warm up to our male lead and realize that, you know, hey, maybe it wouldn't be so bad to have a relationship with this guy. We get to see her grow as a person and begin to realize, wow, But this is what it must have meant to be human. She also has a really long fucking tongue. Jesus Christ. That girl from My Hero Academia is gonna be so jealous when she sees this. There's also equal depictions of both of their facial expressions. Of course, though, the girl kind of looks a bit froggy. She doesn't look like a very stereotypical anime girl, which fine. But seeing both of their expressions and just enjoying it, it's just 10 out of 10. The artwork, the pubes, just the story. It's a long one. You know, it's like this multi-work series. Love it, love it. One of the only wholesome ones that I'll be like, all right, let's go. I have a gun to your fucking head. Read it now. And now finally on to the last one. Seiso Tsui Dancha. Yes, we are ending it on a futanari. And it wasn't hard to know what I was signing up for at all, because this one was suggested by the person who previously suggested another title, my patron called Jethack. I found this out because he decided to advertise this one by saying the story is about a guy with a detachable penis. That quick synopsis, for some reason, I was like, it drew me in. Detachable penis? Like, what was the logistics of it? Like, is it like, damn, like, rips off, like, does he feel it when it's like off his body? Like, what's going on? I had to find out for science, my guys. This is my Oedipus Rex. That doesn't sound correct. Now this bad boy is long. 220 pages, freaking long. And I can say, from the get-go, page 10, I could not believe my eyes when I first saw it, because you could not tell me this is not a gag hentai. The story is about a guy named Ryu who, while being bullied by some girls, gets his dick ripped off. And not in a sort of like, oh, like it's ripped off his body, blood gushing everywhere. It's sort of like a Lego situation, like, you know, come apart, goes apart. Whoa. Either way, it becomes detached, but he can still feel the sensations from it. Throughout the whole manga, the girls who are bullying him begin to just like take the penis. Even in class, they're just like, they put it up there, even like, they do it all the time in public. They're not doing this like to themselves. They're not hiding it well. There's a million people surrounding them. None of the people are just like, huh? Huh? Where's the comfort of our own home when I can't have my detachable penis right in here? Either way, they go to absolute town with it. And then during the middle of the manga, the author kind of draws himself in and it's just like, yeah, I was thinking maybe to have like the detachable penis be attached to the girls and then they're like fucking themselves. Like they're fucking the other girls with the detachable penis, like they attach it to the girls' selves. And then I was thinking that they would make the penis like pee and they'd make it like pee into the boy's mouth and then they'd make the girls like also pee in his mouth. So it'd be like his piss mixed with their piss. Yeah, I was thinking that. And I was like, why are you explaining this in the middle of your hentai? And he's drawing it, to be fair. He's just drawing it as he's explaining it. And I'm just like, yeah? Is that what you were thinking? Yeah? Is that where we're going from here? Bae, you're cooking and I don't know if I'm liking the smell. Honestly, it felt so unserious at points, but also kind of like interesting and decent. The logistics of it was like interesting. Everything that happens gets explained. I was like, okay, clearly a lot of thought was put into this gag manga. Also, like, it's actually like quite a nice little mix in there. Detachable penis, like, hello, why is that actually not that bad? The comedy in it was actually, it was good. It was a really great mix of just a lot of random like genres that really worked out well. It became a little Michelin-starred hentai, if I'm honest. Either way, honestly, I recommend it. If not just for the comedy alone. So that was all of them, my guys. All together was some really great recommendations in there. Honestly, I was expecting more fucked up suggestions, but in reality, I clearly raised the perfect class of degens. And you've made your mother proud. Once again, I am thinking in the future to do more of these. This has actually been a lot of fun doing this. Obviously asking for different types of things, more specific things. This is just the first one. Thank you to all of my patrons that left suggestions. I'm sorry if I did not do yours. And thank you to everybody who watched this. I'd also like to give thank you to my shout out patrons, Diania, Eric G, Lee, Payne, and RPG Hen. Thank you guys again. Please be sure to check out all the links in my description. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!